Welcome to the PAES Lab. This is the 7th PAES Lab training video. In this video, we will show you how to use the cumulative record and weekly planning form to track an employee's progress in the PAES Lab and to decide what jobs to assign employees. This is a sample PAES cumulative record. We've reviewed this form in previous videos, but let's go into it in detail. Each employee has a cumulative record form in their employee work folder. The cumulative record documents which PAES jobs have been attempted and which jobs have been performed correctly by each employee. As we covered before, every tally next to a job code represents one trial, or attempt, to complete the job. When jobs are performed correctly, all the tallies on that job get a circle around them. When employees first arrive in the PAES Lab, the goal is to have them experience as many jobs as possible from different components and units to find their strengths. The best way to find an employee's strength is by using the baseline assessment. There are 38 Level 1 jobs on the cumulative record in bold. These are the jobs that make up the baseline assessment. First, assign employees jobs that are part of the baseline assessment. Based on the employee's performance on these jobs, you will be able to determine units of strength, units in which the employee has aptitude. Once employees have attempted as many baseline jobs as possible, you should assign them jobs level 2 through 6 in their units of strength. But how do you keep track of what jobs you've assigned to your employees? 2 employees can't perform the same PAES jobs at the same time, so you don't want to accidentally assign the same job to 2 employees. To help you keep track and to know what jobs to assign next, we've created the PAES weekly planning form. The PAES weekly planning form helps keep track of what every employee is working on, which in turn helps supervisors know what job to assign next. It works well and requires relatively little planning time, provided you follow 2 basic rules. First, make sure each PAES employee works in a different component each day. And second, make sure they stay in the same component for the entire PAES shift. This simplifies the planning process and drastically reduces weekly plan time because you only need to pre-plan each employee's first job of the day on the weekly planning form. Whenever employees are ready to move on to a new job in a given PAES shift, you can assign that new job within the same component on the fly. Here's how. To keep track of how employees should cycle through components, we've created the following tool. At the bottom of the page, you will see an acronym shortening each component to a 1-letter identification that will help with assigning jobs. B stands for business marketing, T for computer and technology, I for construction and industrial, P for processing and production, and S for consumer service. You'll see these letters listed above and to the left of each day's assignments, vertically and horizontally. These letters help you make sure you're assigning jobs according to the 2 assignment rules: assign jobs from a new component every lab, and stay in the same component during each lab. On this day, for instance, Bruce and Kathy will only do jobs in the business and marketing component. David and Joyce will only do jobs in the computer and technology component, and so on. Once any employee completes their job, simply refer to your weekly planning form and assign them a new job in the same component. Remember to assign jobs from the baseline assessment. If the employee has already completed the baseline assessment, assign them jobs in their units of strength. Here's a sample cumulative record, and here's the corresponding sample weekly planning form. Using what we've learned about these forms, what baseline jobs should Kathy attempt throughout the week? Pause this video now and use the next 2 practice pages in your participant's guide to assign Kathy's first job for the next 5 days. By referring to the example cumulative record and keeping BTIPS in mind, it's easy to figure out. On the weekly planning form, her first day is marked with a T, meaning she should work on a job in the computer and technology component. When we look at her cumulative record, We see she has yet to try job IT1, so we can enter that job for her on the weekly planning form. Using the BTIPS system and the baseline assessment, we can see that she should attempt SS1 in the construction industrial component, TD1 in the processing production component, HS1 in the consumer service component, and finally, TK1 in the business marketing component. Or, if you think she might still complete jobs VP1 or PA1 in the processing production component on a third trial, assign one of those jobs. Now that you've learned how to assign jobs in the PAES lab, let's review. Employees work in a different component each day, but the same component for the entire PAES shift. The cumulative record is a one-page overview of all the jobs the employee has attempted in the PAES lab. Jobs performed correctly have a circle drawn around their tallies. Assign baseline level 1 jobs to each employee to identify units of strength. Use the weekly planning form and BTIPS to help assign new jobs to employees quickly and accurately. In the next video, you will learn about the Workplace Soft Skills Inventory. Thanks.